Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Once again, it's time for Papa's comic books and coffee. Okay, let's see who decided to visit us today. Will you look at that? Batman, Killing Time. Or is it Killing Time? Number 3 of 6. This is by King, Marquez, and Sanchez. It was $4.99 way back in 2022. Now don't forget, this book and others is available on my eBay page, Papa's-Comic-Books. Hit that sub button if you don't mind. I really appreciate that. It helps the channel. Give me a like. And give me a comment. Tell me what you want to hear. If I have it, I'll try to get it on for you, okay? Alright, let's see what we got here. On March 4 at 6:07 p.m., Catwoman's foot is halfway down the accelerator. Give me the name of the buyer. It's not going to be any use to you where you're going. You don't know blah, 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 about where I'm going. At that point, they are clocked at 137 miles per hour. Just drive. She puts her foot down farther, and the engine roars. Half an hour earlier, Riddler answers the door to his safe house, expecting to find the buyer there. Who the are you? Instead, he finds a man who works for the Penguin. I have researched this man to a great extent, and I have been unable to discover his true name. As far as I can tell, he is most often referred to as the Help. I'm the Help. Him. It is rare that I do not know something. Now, regardless, at 5:40 p.m., the Help asks the Riddler a question. Is there a girl? Is the girl here as well? A second and a half earlier, Batman charges the house and throws 2 batarangs at the Help. Wow! Is the girl here as well? The Help dodges the barrage. I see. Well then, shall we? 2 seconds later, Batman and the Help engage in the first of what will become a series of legendary battles. At 3:42 a.m. that very morning, Penguin, who has just woken from a surgery, grasps a pen in his one mostly working hand. Gary McCormick, who is sometimes known as Mr. Sardine, attends to him. There you go, boss. You got it. I'll hold the pad steady. Look. You got nothing but to worry about, boss. We got everything secured. Every man everywhere. Nothing can touch you. Now, if anyone tried, they'd be eating their blah. And this business is still going. Whole town knows the bird don't stop flying. You just got to focus on taking care of yourself. You finished? Whatever it is, boss. But we'll get it done. Don't you think about it for a second. Oh yeah. If that's what you want, boss, it's done. I'm on it. Damn those poor. Call the Help. Kill them all. At 4:13 a.m., Mr. Sardine calls the Help. No. I am most sorry to hear that. Is he going to be all right? Well, that's at least a pinch of sun on a rainy day. But still, no one cares for that type of weather, do they? Now, how can I help? Yes, of course. Well, in tough times, that's what I'm here for, certainly. No imposition at all. Don't fluff a feather. I was already up and I had some last-minute cleaning. Yes, I'll start right away. I find time is absolutely of the essence in these things. Just send me everything you have, including his medical records. I suspect there might be something there. This new type, these men in costumes, they do have patterns, don't they? All right, look forward to it. Thank you very much. Goodbye. "13 hours later, the Help allows the momentum of Batman's attack to carry them both twisting through the air. He is then able to dictate who hits the ground first. Wham! At 6:48 p.m., Kane Hall driver Eric Grossman pulls over to the side of the road on Highway 37 heading west. That day, his load is mostly oranges. Damn, that's a fine-looking machine. You do the mods yourself? Well, my boyfriend did, but then he cheated on me and I took it out just to get some. I don't know, to find a way to get back at him, I guess. But now it's all grindy and I keep trying, but I can't get it to go nowhere at all. I just hope I can get it fixed tonight. I hate staying here by myself, especially today. I'm just feeling so lonely, and I'd like to find some friendly company. Well, ma'am, I suppose I might be able to take a look at it, if you'll let me. 26 minutes early at 6:22 p.m., the Batmobile is going 187 miles per hour down Highway 37, heading west. We're running out of time. We've got to dump the car. He's got 1,000 trackers on this thing. I tore some out, but they're backups to backups. One time I saw him control it with a remote. We need the speed, get as far as we can. You see who that was? The guy who took the shot? Bat's fighting him now. It was help. Who the hired the help? The buyer. We got stabbed. No, the buyer's solid as gold. No, just means the Penguin's alive and flapping. Who cares? Him. Doesn't change anything as long as we've got time. He's going to be pissed. What blah blah change of pace that'll be. About 45 minutes later, at 1:03 p.m., Catwoman and the Riddler pushed the Batmobile over the edge of the Rogers Memorial Lookout, 275 miles west of Gotham. An hour and a half early, at 5:42 p.m., Batman faces off with the Help on the front lawn of the Sunway House. Ah, I see you've gotten overseas for at least some of your training. How marvelous. That's a Ducard, is it not? Do you know that I gifted Ducard his first automatic rifle? He was such a sweet boy back then. Oh, and there's something beautifully American. Does not matter who is throwing it. One always recognizes a Grant counter. I once went 22 rounds with Grant on a barge off the coast of New Jersey. Quite illegal. Or I should say, he went 22 rounds with me, falling unconscious into the water. I lost a potential fortune that day. Should have bet more money on myself, but I sincerely thought he'd win. Oh well, that's almost Proustian in how it takes me back. Bravo, let me guess, you believe that's a Richard Dragon original. In truth, though, I was the one who first used it on him after that scoundrel tried to steal my wallet in Kyoto back in, well, I hesitate to give dates. It ages me so. Ah, and that very good. That is pure Agul, and well executed. I don't expect to see Ghoul on any other man. It takes a confidence that he won't come and kill you. I will have to write to him tonight to tell him how well at least one of his pupils has learned his lessons. Now, have you tired this one? I actually learned it from the Canary. She improvised during a lesson I was giving her. She must have been all of 12 at the time. Crack. Sensational girl, very creative. You could do with some lessons from her, if you don't mind me saying so. 5 years before, on February 18th at 1:28 p.m., a man stands on a hill in the east, or rather a boy stands on a hill in the east. He holds in his hand a box given to him on his last day of training with Ra's al Ghul. He raises his hand into the air and prepares to throw the gift out into the snow where perhaps it will be lost and forgotten. He hesitates. He lowers his arm. He puts the gift in his pocket. A week earlier, Ra's al Ghul and the man who will become Batman clash swords in the caverns underneath the Ghul Monastery. I have left a gift in your cell, something to take with you when you sneak out tonight and go back home. I'm not leaving. There's too much left to learn. My lord, even when you lie, you do it well, though not perfectly. There's something left in you that's uncorrupted, that will never accept a true lie, which is a true shame. But every man has his flaws. What's the gift? It is nothing except my most valued possession, something I killed many men to acquire and many more to retain. Something for you to carry with you always to remind you that though you leave, though you think you can reject everything I am, you are my legacy and you will always remain my one true heir. At 5:52 p.m., after a long fight in which neither component landed very many blows, the help finally strikes Batman in the head with his cane. The cane is made of heavy steel. Crack. And damage is done. There now. You see, if you use one of David Kane's Philippine thrusts, you leave yourself quite vulnerable on the left side. David, too, had to figure this out the hard way. I quite remember him waking days later, sobbing, begging to see what I had done. So don't feel ashamed. Do as I did. Learn and move on. 7 minutes earlier, the side door to the safe house remains closed and locked. A second later, it's open. I need keep moving. If we stop, we're dead. If we walk, we're dead, especially carrying you. No, if we have a chance, we need a ride. Dark Crisis. Good book. Almost 2 hours later, Selina Kyle drives northeast on Interstate 73. Her foot pushes the gas pedal all the way to the floor. The truck is clocked at 72 miles an hour. She checks her rearview mirror. I'm passing out now. Sorry. Way I see it, you have just two options, Kitty. Let me die, take the let me die and try to sell it with them, chasing knowing you'll be dead soon. Or you find a hospital and fix me and we find my buyer. Either way, darling, you see on the other side. See you on the other side. Now you seem, at 5:54 p.m., the fighting at the safe house has finished. Now you seem very close to very good, but not quite there. But a few more years of, painful but necessary mistakes, and I think you'll be something quite special. Now, this is my card. No pressure at all. But if you don't feel like waiting all those years and you have a desire to learn a few important things in a slightly more efficient manner, do not hesitate to call. And he's laid out. 11 minutes later, the house by the lake has been searched and nothing but blood has been found. The help hears the creak of the front door opening behind him. Is that the Batman? And who are you? I'm the buyer. Who the blah are you? I'm the help. Flashpoint. Roughly 730 years earlier, on May 5th, 1372, at 2:16 a.m., a candle burns inside St. Catherine's Church in the city of Gdansk. John Pravda carries the candle toward the altar. He has worked at the church for many years, helping the priests in their ceremonies. The small flicker of light is enough to guide him. John's sister Clara has been ill for a month. He has already lost 3 sisters in his short life. That morning, he had begged Father Rost to bring the vessel to his house. It is only 3 days of travel away. His sister could not come here, he said. She was too sick, he said. This is the eye of Christ, my son. Father Rost responded, taken from his body after his soul ascended to heaven. It will remain in the church until our Lord returns to claim it. On May 9th at 11:03, John's sister Clara lies in her coffin in her house while her father digs her grave in a nearby field. Her mother and other siblings are tending the garden. Only John remains with her. She has been dead for 2 days. What's that? What's he doing? John places the vessel he took from the altar onto her chest. He tells no one of this sacrilege, and he walks away. 9 days later, at 5:33 a.m., John sits by his sister's grave and waits for her to rise. He has waited there since she was put in the ground. In the first days, his father would forcefully carry him away, but he always returned. They sent for a local priest who talked to John for some time before declaring him possessed by the devil. Time passes. He will not eat or drink or sleep. He will wait, and she will rise. Excuse me. At 5:34 a.m., John dies, his face pressed into the dirt. Boom. Feet below the vessel sits on Clara's body as the worms come and go. At 7:32 p.m., Batman enters the safe house. He is stumbling, still dizzy from the head wound. Inside, he finds a naked dead man on the floor. He examines the body. The man has been tortured by someone who knows a good deal about pain. After a few minutes, he stands and goes back outside. At the doorway, he notices a card on the ground. The help. 42 minutes earlier, Phil McCurry sits in a chair. You know, Mr. McCurry, I believe you wholeheartedly. I am your business. I, too, have many, many times not known who hired me and not known what I was buying. You pick up a suitcase, you go to an address, maybe you have a message. Our job is service, not inquisition. I've spent the good part of 80 years doing that, serving others. And to be honest, I've grown a touch weary of it all. 2 hours later at 9:13 p.m., Fred Carey pleads with the Catwoman. If I could help, I'd do it. It's not a matter of that. It's just not what I do. There's a big difference between a cat, even big cats, and if it's not the same, I went to vet school, you know. You need to take him to the hospital. Just drop him off. They won't know. I'm not stupid, Mr. Carey. I'm desperate. And when you're desperate, when you know time is thin, veil growing thinner, and death is just right there, lingering on the other side, then it isn't about making the smart move anymore. You just do what you have to do to get to another day. Isn't that right? Half an hour earlier, Batman watches the Batmobile in flames. The fall ignited the rocket fuel in the Tank 14. The fire has raged for some time. It will continue to rage for some time more. 4 hours later at 12:13 a.m. on March 6th, the Help visits Penguin in the hospital bed. I don't see it as a betrayal, and I don't believe you should take it that way. I was asked to kill these two people, the Catwoman and the Riddler, fellow, and as far as I'm concerned, I will. You have my word. What's more, the money I have recovered, the stealing of which I assumed is what provoked your animosity, is being turned over to you in its entirety, minus my expenses and fees, of course. Standard fare, that. However, I have been around this game for quite some time, and lately I have been looking for, well, not for a way out, but for a way, well, let's say a way through. And speaking to that man today in the chair, with Batman outside and these criminals on the run, it occurred to me that I might know what all this is about, what everyone is chasing. And if it is about, I suspect it is, if the rumors I have heard from men who only talk because I was cutting them, if they're true and I could, well, to possess this, it's something I would like to have that might allow me to finally, all of which is to say I have never asked for more information after being hired. This code has been my true companion for scores of years. But time has passed, and soon so will I, and so the companions of the days must flee into the forever night, just as you must tell me, Oswald. What was this little fat man trying to buy with all that money? Earlier in the night at 8:27 p.m., his car destroyed, Batman mounts a bike outside the Stantons in an OGB bar 2 miles west of the safe house. It is not his bike. He leaves an envelope on the ground next to the vehicle. In the envelope is $97,438 in a note. The note reads, Thank you. On May 24th at 1873 at 6:32 a.m. in a small field in the outskirts of Mayeka 58, miles east of Gdansk, a shovel goes to the dirt. Dozens of local hired workers dig holes in the ground, looking. Finally, one of the men, Alden Nizinski, finds a box in the midst of a few bone fragments and slivers of wood. Alden is immediately executed, as are all the other men on the site. It is quite then the digging stopped, and Ra's al Ghul takes the box from Alden's hand. 130 years later, tigers prowl through the Rozaks, big cat sanctuary, 520 miles west of Gotham. Batman, Killing Time, Chapter 3. Every man has his flaws. Screams scratch the night, and a woman looks into the eye of God. This is written by Tom King. To be continued. That was Batman, Killing Time, number 3 of 6. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, this book and others are available on my eBay page. Papa's-comic-books. Hit that sub button if you don't mind. Give me a like, give me a comment, tell me what you thought about it. And as I always say,
that was easy.
Until next time, Papa is out.